Maokai fall all the way through Pixel Advance's game.
Very good point.
Yeah.
Well, ESC.
That's right. ESC versus Rocks Tigers game number 1. Let's see who takes it. Time to get in the game. Substitute for our first game, ESC versus the Tigers that now, all right, ESC dropped Ever, and we've just received word, Monty, are you ready for this? That the Rocks Tigers have dropped Rocks. Now they are just
God
the
damn
Tigers.
it.
I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding you right now. I was just literally handed a piece of paper by one of our ADs, and it has Rocks Tigers with an arrow pointing to just Tigers with a circle around it and some stars.
I like the stars.
I know, she added stars on there too. And then ESC Ever with an arrow, and then just ESC with a circle and more stars around it. The stars mean it's extra important. So, okay.
Stars
right.
ensure accuracy.
Yeah, that's right. It's nothing but pure professionalism here. I got stars on my kindergarten spelling test sometimes.
I give you stars. I give you
job.
gold stars sometimes after our broadcasts when
That's
I think
right.
you do really well.
If I
he really
say
likes that, guys.
If I say something really smart, Monty just puts a sticker right on my prep documents. I'm like, thank you. A gold star today.
Right on
wow.
your cheek. I just lean over.
That's right. It comes off when I take the makeup off. You should wait until I do that, and then it'll stay all night.
Also, if you cast a team fight really well, just like lean over.
Just put it right on my cheek.
Just put a star right on your cheek.
That is adorable. Tarek would approve. Well, okay, so I guess, guys, it's ESC versus Tigers and nothing else. So don't even try to put words like Ever or Rocks in there. That's right out.
Good, just limit our vocabulary as broadcasters. Just makes it a little bit harder.
I like it. Less for me to say. It's less vocal fatigue. It's important, you know?
I don't know. Tigers has one extra syllable. It's actually increasing your vocal fatigue.
You don't have to say Rocks, though. Before it was Rocks Tigers, now it's just Tigers.
Both of them have extra syllables. It's not good.
Well, no, because you cut entire words out. They didn't give us the easy words. It wasn't Ever and Rocks, but it's ESC, escape key, coming in, and just Tigers, even though it says Rocks in front of the names. But ignore that. It should just be Tigers, I guess. Well.
Who knows, really?
Who knows? It'll be, you know, the funny thing is I almost said, I'm surprised the Rocks Tigers haven't changed their name this season yet. Then they did. 10 minutes after I was thinking that.
I think they're not changing their name. I think they just prefer to be called the Tigers because Rocks is not a sponsor. It is simply their own designation because they had to have a tag.
It is their attitude.
It's their attitude because they came together like a pile of rocks. Now, don't ask me how that makes sense because I don't understand it, but that is the reasoning behind the Rocks name.
Well, Monty, over thousands of years, sediment and erosion can cause rocks to sort of pile together, and then an esports team emerges, I guess.
And that's how esports teams are born.
That's right, the evolution of esports from those primordial rocks.
There's a...
Wow, Dongjun looks beautiful.
There he is. Prancing around Summoner's Rift.
Yep. Much like he prances around the studio. He walks in the same...
He actually
he walks the same
exactly
way.
like that.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. What a coincidence. We both thought that at the same time.
We call it the Dongjun mincing.
That's right. Dapper Dongjun. So it's going to be Mountain Drake starting things off, and it looks like ESC is going to be able to pick that one up after we saw the pretty standard lane swap in the first few minutes of this game.
Yeah, tempo advantage over to ESC, which is why they have the opportunity to go ahead and take that mountain break just a little bit earlier. There will be handy when it comes to doing that Baron with the Azir.
That's a big one too. I mean, the what we've really noticed so far is that the Mountain Drake and the Infernal Drakes are the by far the most valuable ones, especially in the early game. And so we'll see if ESC can put those to use. Yeah,
but it will delay, of course, the top laner from returning over there. In fact, Crazy went back down for some more CS, but Ashe was already there, making the faster swap back. So we're going to see a pretty big advantage here for Smeb. This is what happened in yesterday between SK Telecom and CJ, and it ended up with Untara in a giant CS and experience hole which he never really got out of. Now, it was a more threatening matchup when it comes to the actual, it was a Trundle versus Maokai, so Trundle getting that big split push advantage and the jump start into the late game was more impactful, but it's also a Renekton, which notably is not very strong in the late game. Even with an additional 50 more HP and Dominus, he's not really going to be doing a whole lot.
Yeah, the buff didn't really make a big difference, and that's why we didn't see him picked much, you know? So clearly the pro scene thought that same thing, but do you think that as we see Kuro's passive pop there, do you think maybe that they picked this Renekton because they wanted the 1v1 against Echo?
Yeah, I would assume that that's what they wanted. That's the only reasonable answer I can give to you as to why the Renekton was selected.
I can't really think of any other reason, because it clearly in the, like you mentioned, or like we're seeing in the lane swap, he just kind of doesn't get to do what Renekton is supposed to do, and then late games doesn't have a lot of power.
Yeah. It is a bit of a head scratcher, but sometimes you can't always predict those lane swaps. It is,
I suppose,
it's pretty much a coin toss these days because of the dearth of possible early wards that can actually suss out that situation. The number of ways that teams can play around them if you do invade for deep vision. Lots of mind games. It is pretty coin flippy as to whether you actually get the lane swap or not. Regardless, he did catch up for this wave, but he's also driving a very large wave up towards Echo right now. Won't be the end of the world for this Renekton, but certainly will be playing a bit from behind.
Well, he's finally got the 1v1, though, that he was probably looking for, so we'll see what he can do with it.
Yeah, but his first recall didn't actually get him that much, and Smeb had a chance to recall after getting those 25 CS to pick up a Sheen, so there isn't an item advantage right now for Smeb.
Sure.
Which will nullify a bit of that.
Maybe
and he's going to get a huge minion wave right now, too.
I think he just wanted to use that cool skin. Oh, Peanut tried to go for the collateral damage to stop the recall from Temp, but it didn't work out. Crazy being aggressive here, but you can see that Smeb's just coming out a little bit ahead in those trades.
And it did have to tank a minion wave, though, so making it a little bit more difficult, but Loken and Key now back to pushing up this wave, and at least they got a bit of an edge on their AD carry in response. They've been playing a little bit further back right now. And ESC is going to have an opportunity to make some plays on the map at the moment, considering that everybody's pushed pretty far back on the side of the Tigers.
And here's where that Mountain Drake buff might come in handy. If they can push a little bit farther up, get some hits onto those turrets maybe.
Yep.
We will see. I'm just waiting for the Prey Ashe picks to come in.
Those are always exciting. He's very good at hitting that from the Fog of War, and especially with Kuro on a pick champion like LeBlanc and the burst coming in from Graves.
Bless coming up for a gank onto Smeb. Cocoon gets dodged. Smeb flashes out. Looks like he'll live. Starting that recall immediately.
Yeah, not the best Cocoon there from Bless. Trying to predict that flash just a little bit early, and didn't actually end up hitting it, so they couldn't chain the CC. Smeb will escape in one piece and also still be able to farm up this quite large minion wave that's headed under his turret. Crazy has gone back and picked up the Tiamat already, as expected, so pretty standard Renekton build, nothing too surprising. Kuro has had to go for the Negatron Cloak first into the Abyssal just because of the poke coming in from Azir.
Well, ESC going for blue buff steal here, red buff steal rather. But looks like Gorilla and Peanut are there to prevent it. And are they going to try to make a plan to Kuro here? Nope. Bless and Key just taking a walk through the mid lane.
Yeah, ESC really needs to find a way to get some deep wards in to punish these freezes that the Rox Tigers have going on right now, because Rox is, or the Tigers, whatever, are playing a very defensive early game here. They're going to try and make a play onto Crazy. Peanut is lurking in those brushes, but without reliable crowd control, that gank is really difficult to make. So it looks like Peanut was just waiting there in case there was some sort of counter gank that was going to come through. Realistically, the Echo and the Graves combination is not going to be able to kill a Renekton with flash available.
He puts a ward down in the river, though, so that'll give Smeb the ability to push up a little bit farther. And you know, we haven't seen a ton of games yet, obviously, but Smeb has been looking a little bit rougher this season than we're used to.
Yeah, he's been inconsistent. Some of his games have been pretty good. Some of his Fizz games have been sad.
And then he played Rumble. That didn't go well.
His Rumble wasn't that bad, but yeah, he definitely hasn't looked like the world beater that he was in the spring.
Plenty of season to turn that around, though. Another Mountain Drake on the way, and that would be really big if ESC could pick that one up. Big for both teams, but especially for ESC, you know, to have that double buff.
Yeah,
double Mountain Drake.
It's going to be tricky, though. Temp trying to go in right there for some damage, poke out the members of the Tigers, but
Cocoon onto Gorilla. Who's there? This is poking begins. Ooh, wow.
This is a really hard fight for the Tigers to take.
Got teleport coming in. Crazy. They're going to try to make a play onto Prey, but Prey is already far away. Ash Arrow just defensively. Turn it around. And so it looks like that gank not working out. But what it does do is push Rocks Tigers back, and it might gain ESC this Dragon. Drake.
Dangerous, but at the same time, Peanut's just going to try for a steal right here. Oh, they're going to TB. They're going for it.
Smeb coming in. Drake at about half health right now. Smeb just dueling with Crazy on the bottom side of the Dragon Pit. Collateral damage comes in for a lot of damage. Drake does go over to ESC. Bless very low. Flashes on the wall. Q on the Temp. He's going to go back in. That's 2 kills now for the Rocks Tigers. I'm sorry, for just the Tigers. And so they lose the Drake, but they do pick up 2 kills off of it.
Why did Temp go back in right there?
I was wondering the same thing. That was bizarre.
Yeah, they're bottled up in the Dragon Pit right now. Let's take a look at that. Collateral damage gets some nice... That was so good, the stun from Smeb. Parallel convergence over the wall after skirmishing with this Renekton. And Temp, he made a mistake. He made a mistake. He didn't know his Sand Soldier was back in that pit as he moved to it. So that was a mechanical error from Temp that caused him to die as well.
At the end of it, it is still 2 Mountain Drakes for ESC, but now they're starting to fall behind in gold pretty significantly, and those Drakes are definitely not as helpful if you can't get in range of the towers to hit them.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that the Tigers wanted to take that fight, considering that their alternative was farming more in the top side.